I expanded my business into lodging, into Ziplines, through the process of talking to other members who some had already tried some of this stuff and had great feedback and insights as to what to do. And others were kind of like, hey, we're going to try it too. And we all just said, hey, let's jump in the pool together.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, please welcome your host, Shane.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Tourpreneur Podcast. Now, when I set up the show, one of my major goals was to help us all connect with fellow tourpreneurs, learn from their story and journey, learn what resources they're using, so it'll help our own businesses be successful. But I also want to connect us all with organizations that might be out there that can really help our business. I also want to introduce you to experts out there that can really help our business. And what we're doing today is we're talking to an organization called America Outdoors. And they work to support and enhance tourpreneurs that run outdoor activities. So they provide resources that help tourpreneurs thrive, and they say, together on rivers and mountains, roads and trails, America Outdoors is here so you can be out there. Okay, so we talked today to their Executive Director, Julie Kahlfeldt. Also, we invited Jeff Greiner onto the show because Jeff is a member of AO, has been for many years. He's a fellow tourpreneur. He is the president of Adventure America Zipline Canopy Tours in North Carolina. And I wanted to hear from Julie, the official position of AO, but I was really keen to hear what a rank and file member, if you will, thought about being AO as well. And actually, if you stick around, which I know you all do, right? You all listen all the way right through. If you stick around to the end of the interview, you will hear Jeff share with you how being a member of AO has saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we're also doing something a little different on the show. We invited AO members to call in and leave a very quick message about why they enjoy being a member of AO and what benefits. So we've got 4 or 5 AO members that you'll hear from at the end of the interview. So one of the things I'm really careful of with this show is I never want this to be an infomercial. You know, and if any experts or organizations want to come on Tourpreneur, if you're relevant, you're more than welcome. But I want to speak to your members or I want to speak to your graduates because it's very important that we're authentic and we stay authentic on Tourpreneur. So without further ado, let's cross over to Julie and Jeff. Welcome to Tourpreneur, Julie Kahlfeldt and Jeff Greiner. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Doing very well, thank you.
So for those of us who are not familiar with America Outdoors, can you tell us more about your mission and goals? Maybe we could start with you, Julie.
Absolutely. The America Outdoors is a community of outdoor adventure businesses who join together. We promote and support the outdoor recreation industry through advocacy, education, and collaboration. Our mission is to help our members connect, grow, and learn from one another. We are a resource for business expertise as we are the only member-led organization uniquely committed to helping America's outfitting businesses and those who supply to them. We work to support and enhance the outfitters and provide them resources to help their businesses thrive.
And when were you founded?
We were founded in 1989 in order to make sure that the outdoor outfitting industry had a voice in Washington, D.C.
Right. And Jeff, we've invited you on because you're a member of AO, so I wanted to get the member perspective. And actually, towards the end of the show, we've got 4 or 5 of your members who very kindly called in and left us their thoughts on AO. What was it about AO that you wanted to join the organization?
Well, for our organization, we started in 1971. So we've been around for a little bit. My dad started the company, and he was involved in an organization that was kind of focused on similar kind of things for the East Coast. And there was a West Coast organization doing the same things. So when those two groups came together to create America Outdoors, it was obviously something that we would be involved in as we were part of that process of bringing the two groups together to kind of have one national voice for outfitters.
Sure. And what would you say, having been a member and very active within AO, what would you say are some of the benefits for your business and that has made it good for you to be a member of AO?
Well, how long is this show again?
Okay, give us your top three.
There you go. So I think the power of having the group organized with one message where the outfitters are able to sit down and talk and determine what direction they want to go, what they feel like is the best for the environments that we're working in, and the general public being able to access those environments is a great asset to be able to do that. The networking to be able, which I probably should have saved till third because it's such a phenomenal part of it, is the networking. And maybe I'll come back to that. And then I think also the ability to have an organization that provides for us and develops and organizes educational and professional development information is definitely priceless. But the networking, coming back to that, is the thing that has for us literally impacted us in both our ability to be a better outfitter and also our ability to be more successful, both profitability and again, just our safety standards and our ability to understand what's going on all around the country so that we can get insights from other outfitters who might have come across the same challenges we have.
Want to connect with other tourpreneurs? Then join our Facebook group at tourpreneur.com/Facebook.
And can you share, both of you, can you share a bit more about some of those networking opportunities that you provide? How does that look?
Well, I can talk about it from the organizational standpoint. AO is committed to helping our members connect with one another. That happens really in a really organic way at the conference. We have really expanded our connection times. We have a Women's Connect, a CEO Connect. New this year, we're going to have a Managers Connect. We also connect them through their geographical region and their lines of service. So these are all really excellent opportunities to meet with their peers in a non-competitive way where they can just share and learn from one another. It's truly amazing to go into these rooms where competitors are working together to come up with solutions, in their regional area or with issues that concern them. How many boats they need to have, or if the river's too high, or the interest in Zipline declined, or any of those kinds of things. So we really try to make that happen in a very organic way at the conference. Then throughout the year, we can ask our members to connect with us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and then we have connected them through those mediums as well. We have an active women's group on Facebook, and they just really support one another, and it's really awesome to see that happening. And I think we're going to see a continuation of how that community will grow over the next few years as we expand and learn how to do that.
And I can see, because you put the clarion call out for people to call in and leave us, basically a testimonial on why they're members of AO. And we had 4 or 5 people call in, and this is not like writing a quick review on TripAdvisor or on Google. I mean, when you call in, most of us don't like to hear our voice on air, but you had 4 or 5 members who, as soon as you sent that email out, called in because they really wanted to encourage other people to be a part of AO. And I have to commend you, because that says a lot about your organization and its members, I think.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was really exciting. That call went out to our board members, and I just said, hey, what can you do? And here's what we're doing. And, there's always the top 5 people you call, and they will do what you need them to do. And I think that's even a greater opportunity in the span of an outfitter calling an outfitter to get help.
So when you use the word outfitter, so that's a new one on me, not being an outdoorsman, is that someone who provides a tour and activity? Is that your word for it?
Yes, that's my word. But I would ask Jeff maybe for his clarity and clarification on that.
Well, as an outfitter, you're basically somebody who's providing a professional service to the general public in an outdoor setting. And so the outfitters, just as an FYI sidebar, the outfitters, it started with the whitewater rafting industry, but it's expanded exponentially to include folks that are doing, day trip horsepacking, or doing multi-day ranch experiences. It's people who are doing canoeing trips for day trips or overnight trips. It's folks who have expanded into lodging and hiking guides and Zipline Canopy tours, and just basically folks who need assistance with understanding it's a unique industry and it's got unique challenges like any other industry, I guess. And so it's folks who are trying to expose the public to outdoor experiences, not completely on public lands, but there's a strong representation of outfitters who are utilizing public lands. So our coordination with Bureau of Land Management and with the Forest Service and with the Park Service are also critical parts of what we do, because we're both advocates and partners with those federal agencies to help manage and support visitation in those areas.
And I know that we have a mutual contact with Miranda Peterson at Namaste in Nature. So when we interviewed her on Tourpreneur, she was talking about some of the red tape around actually having hikes and trips on federal land.
Yes, it's a good thing that certainly there's a structure, a framework, and we're constantly trying to make that better. And AO has been a phenomenal organization to sort of guide that, because that's, as Miranda indicated, it can be a daunting task sometimes. And they're constantly trying to make sure that the services that are provided are going to be a positive experience for the public and a positive impact on the resources. And so it's a great partnership. But like any partnership or any family, there's things that sometimes we have to work through to have it work for everybody. And so the AO has been the organization that's been sort of that assistant for us as outfitters. So we can call on an individual basis. So if I can call Julie or somebody on the team there, if there's something specific that's sort of local or regional, and they might guide me and help me figure out what to do. But then there's also those things that, irregardless of if you're taking folks out on horses or if they're hiking or if they're in a raft or they're on a zip line, that there's national things that basically America Outdoors can help us. We have some like challenges or structure that we have to abide by, and AO helps us to make sure that we understand that and that we're abiding by that. And that's even to the nitty gritty of like what the rules are, which are different for outfitters who have employees that are on federal lands. The rules for us are in some areas different than the rules for somebody who's employing people on private property. And so utilizing those resources, we have to understand that, and AO helps us guide us through that.
Sure. I love your mission of helping members connect, grow, learn, and belong. We talked a little bit about connecting, and I want to chat a bit more about your national conference in a moment. Can you give me some idea of how you're helping your AO members grow and learn?
I'm not a politician, but this is going to seem like a political answer, because I'm going to loop back to the question about the members and the connecting, which I think also is a part about growing. So Julie talked about the conference and things like that bring the whole group together. The amazing thing is that in this organization, there also has developed all these sort of subgroups that have created things like rafting.com came out of a small group from America Outdoors who developed that as a way to market and grow their individual businesses. And these are organizations that are a little more non-compete, because in that scenario, it gives us both sides of it. So America Outdoors gives us a place that we can talk as a group, as competitors, and be able to do certain things. But then there's that nitty gritty that you really want to talk some nuts and bolts that you might not want to talk to your competitors about. And these subgroups have developed through America Outdoors, and we meet at the conference. We might meet other places, like at different locations, and we will give feedback to each other and evaluate their facilities and evaluate their processes and sort of do a little bit of a peer review. But it's a place where we can also kind of, like I said, talk about profitability and talk about employee needs and things like that, and even do employee exchanges. So during the winter months when I'm slow, I have about 10 employees who go to Texas, and they work with a company in Texas and doing a similar thing, but on a different river. And then in the summertime, when Texas is slower, they come back and work for us. Directly came from America Outdoors and our involvement there. So there's a lot of those kind of things. I expanded my business into lodging, into zip lines through the process of talking to other members who some had already tried some of this stuff and had great feedback and insights as to what to do. And others were kind of like, hey, we're going to try it too. And we all just said, hey, let's jump in the pool together and we can call each other to kind of help each other figure that out. And it's been just amazingly helpful. Any industry or organization in travel and tourism, this kind of networking is what it's really all about.
I see that across the board in many different industries. Very often conferences will let you buy the video recording of all the speakers, which is great if you can't make it. But for me, it's always, I talk about this with Arrival a great deal and people who go there, that it is about meeting people for a coffee, learning about other people's businesses or how they overcome a challenge. And that's actually why we set up the Tourpreneur Podcast, so we can interview various tour operators and actually really understand, not sugarcoating things, but saying, yeah, this was a nightmare situation I had with an employee, or something happened with a tour guide, or I'm really struggling to find affordable insurance. So I really like what, your mission is there at America Outdoors. In terms of challenges that you hear about, what do you think are some of the most common challenges facing your members today?
From an organizational standpoint, from what I'm hearing, I think one of the biggest challenges is that most of our members, they're seasonal businesses. So they have all the challenges of taxes and payroll and staffing and cash flow, insurance, like all those things on a very seasonal basis. And I think when you're rotating people out and in, like Jeff was talking about, it gets to be a little challenging. Of course, it's happening everywhere. Mother Nature, we've got fires, we've got floods, we've got droughts. So all of that impacts our members directly. Last spring, it was rain everywhere, and it's raining now. In Colorado, they got all this great snow, which is wonderful. But as it melts, it's going to create some challenges with high waters, and then they can't run the rivers. So fire, same thing. So those are things beyond our control, but that directly impact the business of our members. The red tape connected with working on federal and governmental lands is huge, and something that we're always addressing in our advocacy work, and trying to make that easier, trying to help those who don't work on permitted lands understand why it's important for them to bond with us and have one voice and one message to DC.
Hey, this is D-Mac from Adventure Treks, website www.adventuretreks.com. And I'm a member of America Outdoors because, number one, it gives a voice to our organization in Washington, D.C. when dealing with issues of federal nature on Forest Service, Park Service, BLM lands, as well as anything concerning DOT or really issues just regarding compliance with being an outfitter operator in the outdoor world and everything that involves. Because an organization the size of ours, there's no way we could have a lobbyist or truly have a strong voice in DC, but through America Outdoors, we're able to come together as a unit and show that this organization, this industry that is actually larger than pharmaceuticals in terms of its contribution to the GDP, truly does matter and is important for the betterment of individuals and of getting people outside in order to have the conversation around conserving one of the best and greatest treasures the United States has, which is the Forest and Park Service and those federally protected lands. And the other reason I'm a member of America Outdoors is truly because of the connections, the ability to meet and become friends with peers from all over the country who I might not otherwise ever have a reason to connect with, but somebody then that I can count on or call when discussing an issue or needing help or assistance. Just nice to have a larger web of friends and a larger web of people who understand what we're going through and how to create better systems and really just give better peers and better friendships all across the board. So that's it. Good luck with the podcast and have fun.
I also think a lot of our members are small businesses, and the person who's the owner is also answering the phone, is taking people down a river, or and maybe cooking food. So they need a lot of help, and they may not have the financial resources to do that. And so we're providing information on marketing and social media and trying to just build up their arsenal of things that they need to be the best that they can be. And really the end goal is to get people outside, in areas they couldn't access otherwise in a safe way.
And to add to that, I would agree with what Julie said, but I would also say that we're in an age where staying relevant is a little tougher. So our experiences are very much a sort of family tradition kind of thing, but the challenge of having the younger generation still be excited about the idea of going. Once they go, we have no question that we're going to entertain them and they're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great experience and a great bonding thing with families and parents and children, and that disconnect from the electronics and all that. But getting that move where it's like, hey, we're going to go somewhere and you're not going to have your cell phone for 4 days or 8 days or even in my case, a couple of hours. And you're like, what? So I think that part of it is another challenge for us, is to be the value of being outdoors is just, it's research has been done on it. There have been a tremendous amount of great books written on it, and it's a really powerful experience, but it's more and more of a challenge to get the younger generation to buy into that initially. So
sure, no, and that's a good point. And I'm curious then, because obviously all AO members love the outdoors and they see the benefits of it. And your goal is to convince people like me, who I only skied once many years ago. It was awful experience, and I'm scared of heights. We got a ziplining place here in Vermont. I've never been. They advertise all over the airport. So you need to convince people like me that I need to go out hiking. I mean, I live in a great state here and I haven't hiked yet. Is that something that is also a part of your mission at AO then, to go out to the general public to promote the outdoors? Or is it that you work with your individual members who may want, marketing advice or publicity advice? How does that look?
Well, one of the things I would say is that this is where even our competitors, we want our competitors to be better. Because you just said a minute ago, you said you went skiing, it was an awful experience. It was probably because you might have been challenged with the experience of the activity, but
I was physically challenged for sure.
Yes.
I thought I was James Bond and I was Mr. Bean.
There you go. So, and that part we can't really change. But what we can change is making sure that the outfitter experience is a positive one. So as Julie said, there are all varieties of outfitters. There's some that we consider large in our industry, but it's really the size of somebody who might have a couple of successful McDonald's in a city. Our industry, even the biggest, are not really big business, but the smaller ones who might struggle, if we can help them be better outfitters and bring them up, then it brings the industry up. And so there's less likelihood for a bad experience that's based on the outfitter experience versus your own personal capabilities. So I think in that way, AO is an extremely powerful resource. And that's, again, why I like my competitors to be there as well, because I want them to also sort of rise the tides for us all.
And you make a good point there, because that skiing trip, I wasn't with a guide. It was just me and a friend. And, I was on the beginner's slope. So no one was there to help me. And maybe if I'd had taken an organized trip, I would have had an instructor who would have spoke to me and helped me out. And so I understand the point you're making there. It does depend on who you're going with, I think.
My name is Lindsay Winter. I'm with Grand Canyon Whitewater. You can find us at grandcanyonwhitewater.com. We run multi-day guided whitewater rafting trips on the Colorado River through Grand Canyon. America Outdoors plays a huge role in our industry and our company. The annual conference has been one of our favorite things. We typically bring about 5 to 12 staff members to the conference. It's a huge perk for all of us. It's fun while also incredibly informative. The networking with many other outfitters, the learning sessions, and the vendor exhibits are great. There's something for everyone within our organization. Our operations crew can focus on sessions dedicated to things like emergency response management, efficiency, team building, and liability, while also browsing all the new river gear at the vendor show. Our marketing team attends sessions dedicated to social media, SEO, email marketing, and the customer journeys, and also can order merchandise at the vendor show. The owners attend sessions focused on how to be good leaders, governmental affairs, updates, are able to spend time in forums with the NPS, Forest Service, and BLM personnel. Our company hasn't missed this conference in all the years it's been held. We find it incredibly valuable. Aside from the conference, it's comforting to know that someone else has your back and is staying updated on all the legislative changes and government affairs that may affect our businesses. The email updates help us focus on issues that are important to us and have our voice heard as needed. And I can't mention the connections enough. The connections we're able to make with people in the same industry across the nation and the world are super important. We all eventually deal with similar issues, so to have a group of folks to bounce ideas around with helps a ton. We get to share things we've tried in our businesses and hear new ideas and outcomes from others. We've learned so much and shared so much with our peers in the industry. We always highly recommend becoming a member of AO to our peers. As small businesses, being a member of AO brings us opportunities we might not otherwise have on our own. Thanks.
Tell me a little bit more about the national conference. So it's in Utah this year, I believe?
Yes, it's in Salt Lake City in December 9th through 12th. And the conference is a 3-day extravaganza, if you will. I mean, we have a full-on exhibit trade show where our members connect with suppliers and do their purchasing for the year, learn about new products, programs, and services, and generally, just connect with that segment of our membership. And the exhibit hall is a very exciting place, and there's lots of going on. And we're even building into that this year with some new things that are going to be happening in there. And then on the other hand, there are whole days dedicated to education. So this is education for our members. We're talking about sessions about leadership and risk management and marketing and legislative related things. And we're trying to really this year make a big effort that these are hands-on or deep dives, if you will, where we're going into the weeds. One of our workshops this year is going to be how to prepare for your day in court. So this is a country that's sue happy, and so you have to prepare. And we're going to be doing real life scenarios and how you would respond and how you would react. Last year, we did a workshop on making that crisis call. You have a kid who hurt themselves, and you have to call the parents. And I walked into that session, and there were people spilled out into the hallway, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then I realized what they were doing, and it was so interactive and fun. So that piece of the conference is really exciting. This year we're rolling out, I'm calling it speed dating, but I have to come up with a better term, of connecting our outfitters to the media and social influencers, as well as travel agencies. From Arrival, that's a big thing. That is not something that AO has really touched on in the past. So we're hoping to build some bridges between those different components so that we're all working together again as like a cohesive group to provide the best access to the outdoors for everybody. We want people to get outside.
I think that's smart. I mean, I get a ton of questions here at Tourpreneur about OTAs. In fact, my big lesson when I started Tourpreneur, and full disclosure, I worked at an OTA. I mean, most of my working life I've been with Booking and then Get Your Guide. And people wrote in and said, we didn't know we had to go look up what an OTA meant, what it stood for. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in the bubble. So I think that at your conference, introducing people to OTAs and, something we haven't really talked about so much on this episode so far is marketing, because that must be, it's a huge challenge. It's a massive jigsaw. I mean, even social media, I was talking to a tour yesterday and he said to hire someone full time because he's like, I can't commit to all the channels. Is marketing something you offer help with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On our board, we have somebody who works for a marketing company.
Right.
And so he's very helpful in helping us kind of reshape our programming. But we have several members who are our marketing agencies, and they will be speaking at the conference and providing really just excellent information to help our members get going. And then, of course, if the member would like to work with them, they would create their own business opportunity there. But marketing is huge, and it's more of, they're not islands. They have to work with their CVBs. They have to work with the state DMCs. People are savvy for sure, but I don't know if I just put in whitewater rafting, all kinds of stuff comes up, and we want to make sure that our members are the first ones coming up and that they're seen as respected and trustworthy operators to whom the American public can seek out. So we really want to try to boost that as a benefit to our members.
Yeah, I think that's so important because the way I see marketing, particularly in travel, is there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, a lot of free resources, but they get out of date very quickly. And I'm talking to a lot of tourpreneurs who've burned through a load of cash because they didn't understand how display ads work on Google or Google AdWords. If you do that wrong, they will take hundreds of bucks off you for a couple of clicks if you don't know what you're doing. So I think that's an important part of the conference. And then technology, that's also huge in our space right now. I was just reading that, Airbnb are now moving into multi-day experiences.
I just read that yesterday, yeah.
Huge news, really, I'm really pleased because I'm a big fan of multi-day tours. And I know that that's the tricky one if you're on a computer to book that online because you just said now, Jeff, over 8 days, it's a 4-figure sum, some 5 figures. To hand that cash over on an online OTA is tricky. So is technology something you also address at your conferences and within your networking, or?
Sometimes, again, it's where we're getting some traction and growing that part of it, because these are the resources that our members really need to know and understand.
Well, there's over 140 different booking platform providers out there. I mean, it is a minefield. I think it's very tricky to navigate. So we have quite a few of those that listen to the show. So I would suggest that you contact Julie and maybe make a pitch about going to
yeah,
Utah.
Absolutely.
And, talking to the AO members, because this is where, we really do need the help. Jeff, for you as a member, what do you enjoy about conference?
Well, I'm going to tout the sessions a little bit more because I think Julie actually humbly presented them. But over the many, many years of the conferences, the sessions have been phenomenal, and they do include a lot of technology. They do include a tremendous amount of marketing. In fact, it's been called the marketing conference. Clearly, we have to have the risk management and all that kind of stuff, but helping businesses find their way through some of this technology has been one of the things that I've gotten from the conference. And I think that the interactive sessions that we have are very powerful because the group is a group of people who like to do versus hear. And so having those opportunities to basically sort of put some of your own ideas into play and see how they work out. I participated in that session that she referred to that was basically phone calls. And some of those were also, as other tour operators will understand it, it's also the person who was, homesick, or, with some of these youth programs that are out there and our members, and how you call to the parents and help deal with that and that kind of thing. It was just a great, great session. So I think the balance is really good between the different experiences that people need and the different sessions that they need. I don't know when the last time was I considered not going to that conference.
Wow. How many of these have you been to? Answer says it all.
Gosh, I would say 20 plus years.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Don't miss them. I don't miss them.
Yeah. And that's why I'm really pleased you're on the call, because I do want to hear the member viewpoint. And when I hear you as a busy tourpreneur, I mean, you're running tours, you have a family, you have commitments, but you're prepared to fly to the other side of the country for 3 or 4 days and learn. That says a lot about the value of the conference in particular.
Well, and the other thing is for us, our work is other people's vacations. So a lot of times when we go to these conferences, you'll find that folks are coming in a little early or staying a little later. And unlike you, I have skied more than once. And so the blessing of going out west is they have slightly better, my apologies to the Eastern ski resorts, but they have a little bit different we'll call it different skiing out west. And so folks will come to the East and from the central part of the country, and they'll spend some time at the beach or explore. And going back to one of the things we talked about earlier is that some of the neat things about when we get together and network is a lot of times our meetings and our time that we're talking about business is actually while we're floating down the river on a raft or sitting in a campsite around a fire, kind of talking about, how do you deal with the shortage of employees, or how do you deal with, workers' comp issues and that kind of thing. So our boardrooms are sometimes full of sand.
There is one of our listeners that I would love you to invite to speak. His name is Peter Syme. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Peter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He's great. So he runs rafting companies up in Scotland, and he's involved in all sorts of things. But Peter's very good because he never holds back, especially when it comes to OTAs and technologies. And I can listen to Peter for hours because he's in the trenches, right? He's on the front lines. And yeah, he just doesn't hold back. He would make a great speaker. And I'm sure he'd love to come to Utah, but we'll chat about that offline maybe. But Peter, if you're listening, I think you should come to Utah.
Well, and one of the things is that the balance in the speakers, and that's a great example of one that like is an outfitter, but also has a great message.
Yes.
And the speakers that are at the conference are a great mix of, some of them are actually industry partners and people that are in the industry, but a lot of them are people that are also outside of the industry, so that we get a different perspective, and folks come in that basically are like, hey, this is what I'm seeing and this is what I'm learning and hearing, and here's what I've found in other industries that we think can help you.
Yeah, and I'll definitely link to Peter's profile, LinkedIn and social media, because I think for everyone listening to the show today, they should follow him, because he also writes a lot of articles about dealing with OTAs and particularly around technology and marketing. And like I said, he doesn't hold back. He uses the occasional swear word. That's all I'll say. But he is Scottish.
That's okay.
Forgive him.
Yes, that's right.
Never miss an episode of the show. Subscribe at tourpreneur.com/subscribe.
How much does it cost to be a member of AO?
So I knew you were going to ask that, and I actually wrote it down because I don't want to get it wrong. Commercial members, those who are supplying goods, services, and products to our outfitters, is $325, and it's worth its weight in gold. The biggest thing is that they get access to our members 4 times a year. We update their mailing list, so it's amazing. And they have other opportunities to reach out to our members, including supported content on our website. Our outfitter members, that's a sliding scale based on their gross revenue. And it can go from $415 all the way up to just over $4,000, depending on how big they are. And for that, this is a really excellent investment. They get year-round benefits. They're listed on our directory of trusted outfitters. And that is, again, something we're really trying to push out to the public so that they start using that a little bit more. We just added a health care plan that they can use for their staff, and that's huge.
Massive. For
anybody, but especially in this industry with seasonal workers, we have a program that can actually support seasonal workers. And then, really, it's just, again, the networking and all that. So I think it's a great investment. I think Jeff would concur that this is a really great value for the outfitter members.
Yeah, Shane, I just want to say that I think I still owe America Outdoors several $100,000 in savings that they've created for us in their advocacy for permitting and things like that would have cost us so much money. But their advocacy for our industry, their understanding of things. For instance, there was a time frame where our permits were going to require us to have like 10 times the amount of liability insurance. It was something that really wasn't even available to us, regardless of the cost. But that would have cost us, as individual outfitters, tens of thousands of dollars a year. And so things like that they've done to help us manage the permitting and the paperwork and things like that. And I'm not exaggerating when I say there are things that have happened that have saved us just so much money. Of course, every member benefits from that, regardless of how large or small they are. But as a larger outfitter, I certainly don't mind contributing to that, because the return on the investment is it's immeasurable. There's absolutely no way to quantify the value of it.
Wow, that's a very impressive testimonial, I have to say. Wow.
Hello, this is Scott Teuber, Teuber. The name of my company is Wisconsin River Outings. Our website is canoe-camping.com. And why I love America Outdoors, you know what? We're in a niche market. It provides me access to a whole bunch of other people in one spot at our yearly conference to commiserate maybe even do a little whining, and hear about successes of those that are in our unique niche market of the outdoor industry. The marketing information is targeted to our niche market, once again, of the outdoors, and supplying people with memories to take with them, in some cases through the cold winter for us here in Wisconsin, and our advocacy for federal regulations, ways of hopefully reducing regulation on what are in effect tiny businesses, and our representation in DC, and in some cases when the time is appropriate or the situation is appropriate, even at our state level, of assistance and backup from a national organization like AO. The people are, of course, are friendly, and that's probably because of the industry we're in, and it just makes for a great way to download at the end of a season, referring specifically to our conference in December, to recap a season, see how everyone else did, and see what direction the industry's heading in. Thanks for the opportunity.
Where can people find out more about America Outdoors? If they heard the show today, they're intrigued about joining, where can they get more information?
They can call us at 865-558-3595. Happy to talk to anybody listening to the show today to tell them more about AO, or our website, americaoutdoors.org. Revamped our website. It's super fresh and much easier to use. So I encourage anybody to get on there, and you can reach board members and the staff from our site as well.
Great. And I will add all those links and all your social media links to tourpreneur.com/14. Technically, this is episode 13, but I'm superstitious, so we'll skip that one and we'll go to 14. Before people write in, where's episode 13? That's great. Jeff, I'll also link to your business as well and add your details. And I would love, Jeff, if you would like to come back on Tourpreneur and we can do the full in-depth interview on your business and your journey within tourism.
Would be happy to do so.
Fantastic. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to share before we wrap up and pass the baton over? Sorry, say this in America, baton to your members?
I don't think so. I think I wanted to say thank you for having us on your show today. It's been a great opportunity to just start spreading the word and share the information about AO.
And your listeners need to come and enjoy the outdoors with an America Outdoors member.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you both of you for joining. I know you're incredibly busy, so I appreciate you giving us some of your time today and sharing more about America Outdoors.
Hello, my name is Michael Cohen. I am calling from Santa Barbara Adventure Company out here in California. My website is sbadventureco.com. We do a variety of trips. We're a multi-sport operation, so we do kayak, sea kayaking, biking, surfing, wine tours. We do outdoor education programs. We do other things as well. Our main tour is at the Channel Islands National Park, where we do sea cave kayaking tours. I really enjoy and encourage any company to join America Outdoors that is in our guiding and outfitting field. The reason for me is because I have found such benefit during the growth of my business over the last 21 years. And we have learned from like-minded entrepreneurs, from insurance representatives, from really smart lawyers for legal protection, and to help with all of the challenges that go out to do this type of business. So I've really learned how to protect my business, how to grow my business through the incredible marketing efforts of America Outdoors and through the conference. Really, the conference really inspires my team to learn about new marketing techniques. I mean, it's ever changing, to learn about legal aspects, which are ever scary, and to really just help my business to grow. So that's Michael Cohen, Santa Barbara Adventure Company. I encourage any outfitter in the West or in the United States to join our team and see the benefits of how we can work together. Thank you.
Hi, this is Julie Thorner, the president of Liquid Spark, an adventure marketing agency. Find us at liquidspark.com. Our agency is a proud member of America Outdoors, and so are many of our outfitter clients. America Outdoors offers a tremendous network of large and small, highly successful adventure companies who share in business best practices and learn and grow together. AO's legislative team is there day in and day out to support members through the dizzying regulations of offering trips on federal and state lands and waterways. The annual AO conference is the only place to get key marketing and management training and insights geared exclusively to outfitters. We see our clients gain learnings there that pay dividends for years. So jump in and become a member. It'll be a great decision to help your adventure company thrive in the competitive and ever-changing world of outfitting guided and self-guided adventure tours and trips.
Did you know every weekday Shane curates the most interesting news articles in tours and activities and sends them out in a snappy daily digest? Grab your copy of the Tourpreneur Daily Briefing at www.tourpreneur.com.
Thank you to everybody who took the trouble and time to call in and leave a message for us, sharing with us why they enjoy being a member of America Outdoors. As I said during the episode, you can find all the links to today's show available at tourpreneur.com/14. And if you enjoyed today's show, please help me out. Please pass the pod. If you can share this podcast with people who you know in the industry who may get value from listening to tourpreneur.com. Until next time, cheerio.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.